know you're somewhere, somewhere.
Hi Scorpio, welcome to my channel. My name is Kem. Today, Scorpio, you guys got Turkey Spirit, give with gratitude and grace. It's interesting because I'm doing this read today on the new moon in Scorpio, which is an eclipse. And I haven't even done that reading yet. I'm about to do that reading after this reading. So it's interesting. But if that reading is anything close to what this is, I kind of feel like this is about that eclipse in a sense, Scorpio. Or the eclipse is going to be a very big chance for you guys to have some sort of breakthrough. And it's kind of like a breakthrough that leads to, you know, sometimes they say like a breakthrough that leads to a tower, right? Or the breakthrough is the tower. No, this seems a lot more gentle, to be honest. So I feel like if out of all the signs that are going to get like rocked with this energy, like everyone's getting rocked in a sense, like everyone's having some sort of thing happen to them energetically, or they can feel it, at least if they're in tune with themselves. I think whatever is happening for you is going to really push you into like this very positive energy, okay? Like especially with the dog here, this is the 10 of cups, the child here, the turkey is talking about gratitude. It's the 7, it's divine, a 7 again, divine energy. So all I'm getting with this is like very good energy, Scorpio. Like whatever breakthrough is happening in your life, it is going to lead to such a positive turn, you know what I mean? It's like a positive turn happening in your life, but for the better. Again, and it's not leading to any like heavy energy. I just did Libra's read and it was very heavy. Like I will say that, it was so heavy. This feels so light. This feels so like energetically light. Like look at the child, like the child's just running around. There's not a care in the world. There's not a worry in the world. It's kind of like if you could imagine what heaven was like, or you could imagine what like, you know, the most peaceful place on earth was. This is what I would imagine. So I'm getting like a very like light, fun, beautiful energy for you guys. I'm very happy that I'm getting this, especially after my last read. So let's pull more on this and see what's coming in. But overall, like expect a very light energy, expect a very nice breakthrough, but like a breakthrough that doesn't leave you feeling, you know, more confused, a breakthrough that makes you feel light. So Scorpio, I feel like, again, the same thing I was saying in the other session. You have the 10 of cups out here twice. It could mean like something to do with love, but I feel like that's the least of it right now. Like the least of it right now is the love aspect. The bigger part of this is what I was saying, like that nirvana feeling, that heaven feeling, like that peaceful energy that's coming into you. It came up right next to the heaven and earth. That's what I'm talking about right now. So wherever you have been, Scorpio, it's time to kind of switch mindsets, I'm getting. And I think for a lot of you guys, it's going to take time. Like this energy, you see it here and you see it present. You might be like in a slump right now, or you might be like in a energy of like the exact opposite of this, you know? And I'm getting the like thing to tell you that that's kind of how this could play out energetically. Like just because like you might feel energetically a little bit tired or worn or you know exhausted, it's because you're ending a cycle, you know what I mean? And I think the best way to put an ending to that cycle, especially with the eclipse today, is to give gratitude, to give thanks for the old cycle. I was just watching Princess Mononoke. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, and in the beginning, like the boar comes in, right? And the boar is like so filled with hatred and anger that it turns into a demon, right? And when it dies, like the lady of the town, who was like a, you know, like the eldest, whatever, the most wise person of town, she comes out and she gives gratitude to the boar, to the demon. And I think that's something that we don't know how to do, like in this culture, like in this time. We don't know how to give gratitude to the things that are not great, right? Like the minute that something bad happens to us, or something inconvenient, or something, you know, happens that's not what you would consider, you know, a happy thing or a positive thing, we don't give gratitude to those moments, right? We never say thank you for those moments. So I feel like you're exiting a cycle, and I think like the last thing you would ever do is like revere it or say thank you for it or thank you to it. And I think that's kind of what this eclipse could even have in it, a little bit of like this reverence for the past, or for the hard time that we had just gotten out of, or for whatever the fuck the past was bringing, because this lightness is coming in for a reason. And again, I don't think the lightness could have come in without the darkness. Do you know what I'm saying? And the lightness couldn't be here right now if we hadn't just went through what we just went through. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like that idea of like, you can't appreciate, what do they say? It's like you can't appreciate the darkness without the light, right? Or you can't appreciate the light without the darkness. That's what it is. You can't appreciate light without darkness. And that's kind of what I'm getting with this. It's like when the light cycle starts and when the energy gets lighter for you, it's gonna feel very different. And that's because you have just gone through a time in your life where maybe it wasn't that fun. And again, like maybe it was very hard. And maybe it was maybe you felt very alone, maybe you felt very anxious, maybe you felt depressed, like whatever the energy was, you're figuring shit out, and that might not have been fun for you. Whatever was like not fun, you know what I mean? Whatever you consider not fun for you, everyone has their own experience that they went through. They're not even telling me what that experience was. That's the interesting thing. Like they're telling me of the energy to come, so I kind of feel like, again, like this is some sort of eclipse energy for you guys. Like I feel like this read might actually just be the eclipse read, to be honest. Because it's the new moon in Scorpio eclipse, and I'm doing Scorpio on the day of the eclipse, and I was going to do it right after this, and now I'm just feeling like this is actually that reading. I think they want you to, like, if you're at this energetic point, like, I kind of feel like this is a collective read. Like, if you're at this point in your life where, like, maybe you think things can't even get better, like, maybe you're not in a bad energy, like, maybe you're not in a hard time, but you don't think things could get even lighter or higher, right? I think they can. I think they can. And what's interesting is, like, I see a bigger focus. I feel like they're trying to say, like, you've just passed this and this, and now it's time for this and this. Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm also getting. It's like you might have just passed a cycle with wand and sword, and I feel like the next cycle coming in could be in pentacle and in cup, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm kind of getting that vibe here because we have the 10 of Cups beginning and ending that read. And that's part of the new energy that's coming in, right? That cup energy. So I feel like part of the new energy of the eclipse is that cup energy. So it could be love that's coming in for a lot of you guys. But it was only after you learned this lesson. And it was only after you learned this lesson. So, like, maybe you guys have been trying to do something new or trying to be very creative in your life, trying to start, you know, a business, trying to start, you know, a new job, a new career, like whatever you're trying to start new. Maybe you're just getting in tune with that feminine side, which is very creative, which is very playful, and you're putting that masculine side to it as well, like that, you know, I got to put the work in. I got to see the truth. Like, what's realistic about this? Like, again, there's something here that you've been learning and you've been working on in the last cycle, right? But it's interesting how the Counselor's in reverse here, because the Counselor being in reverse tells me, and the Pentacle, exactly, these two are in reverse. And I was saying, like, I think Pentacle energy and cup energy are what's to come, right? And that's exactly what I think is happening with these two cards here. Like, the only way to get everything that we want maybe is not to have it all come at once. Because if it all came at once, right? For example, like, if all four things came at once, like if this 10 of Cups came, right? But you hadn't learned the lesson of the Ace of Swords, and you hadn't learned the lesson of the Ace of Wands. So, like, you didn't appreciate the new beginning when it started. Like, imagine you starting a new beginning, but not alone, with somebody else. Maybe in your mind that would have been, like, so much better. Like, I'm not alone in this new beginning. I have someone to grab onto. I have this, like, relationship. I have this person. I think it would have been very different than having had it start alone. I feel like a lot of you guys may have been single when this Ace of Wands took place, when this, like, new beginning took place. And I think a lot of you guys might resent that, or been like, oh, I'm single. Like, I don't understand why I'm single. And I think it was for a reason, because it's like they're telling me here, like, with what's to come in, which is like this childlike innocence with this 10 of Cups coming in, it's like you're ready for it now, but you couldn't have been ready for it before. Maybe there was something that was more pressing and more important. Like, maybe there's a rule, like not like a rule, but a list, right, of how the divine sees things should play out in your life, and how the divine thinks, like, you would best learn, you know? And I feel like the cup being last, there's a reason for that. Like, there's a very big reason for that, right? There's a reason that I think the pentacle may have even been withheld from a lot of you guys. The money, the abundance that you sought out from that new endeavor. There's a reason why, like, it didn't all come in at once. That's what I'm getting. Like, you know, there are some readings where we get like a windfall of energy and we're like, wow, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. Like, wow, in all aspects, it's a windfall. But this is nothing, that windfall is nothing compared to this. That's what I'm getting here. Like, I know that this is a 1 and this is a 1, so it's kind of saying like, it's the beginning of this, but I'm seeing it opposite. And I don't know, you guys can read it however you want to read it. But I'm seeing here that, like, if you didn't know the truth within yourself, and you didn't have that time alone to create and to stew and to figure your shit out and like to see where it was that you really wanted, like maybe if you were influenced at that time, things would be very different for you and not in a good way. So I'm getting now that, like, the reason that someone could be coming in now is because you're ready for it now. And the reason, like, the abundance might have been withheld from you at that time, that it was withheld from you, was like, again, what good is it to, like, let's just say, like, you're a novice at something, you're not good at something, and you know, you start getting a lot of money from something, or you start making a lot of money, but you're an amateur at it, right? What fucking good is that? Do you learn more about your craft when you're, you know, when you're like, if you're making a lot of money off of doing something poorly, would you spend the time to learn it better? No, right? You'd probably just be like, oh fuck it, I'm making tons of money, I don't have to learn it better, I can do this shitty job people will pay for, and that's it. No. I feel like that's kind of how this went out. This is like, they gave you this new opportunity, they gave you this idea, you know, you were inspired divinely by something, but you might not have gotten the funds for it. And the reason was because you needed to learn your craft better. You need to learn yourself better. You need to learn what the fuck you were doing before you could get the abundance that you sought out, right? You need to get ready for it. Same thing with this love. And I feel like the wand is very connected to the pentacle, and I feel like the ace is very connected to the cup. Like, you couldn't get this 10 of cups if you can't see the truth. What if you don't speak the truth? What the fuck are you going to do in a relationship, right? I don't know if this is even relevant. I don't even know why I'm saying this, because it's such a... I don't think it's garbage, to be honest. I think it's the truth and it's the reality. And I think a lot of the times, like, we don't want to see the reality. But you know that there's this YouTuber called I Know A Rel, and he goes around like Venice Beach and he asks people questions like, you know, do you want to, he gives people loyalty tests, like, in relationships, and he's like, yeah, you know, would you hit up your best friend's boyfriend, tell him, with your best friend being right there, and let's test your boyfriend, let's see if he's loyal, so, like, ask him if he'd want to hook up with you. And, like, 9 out of 10 times, these guys are, like, sure, they're like, yeah, sure, just as long as my girlfriend doesn't find out, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the sword energy. Like, what would be the fucking point of giving you somebody a 10 of cups if they didn't have this ace of swords in their like vessel, right? Like, if you can't within be like very honest and truthful, what the fuck are you gonna do with love? And I say it so strongly because it's like, I was watching that show and I got like a little bit sick over it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was like, what is this? Like, is this the collective? Like, I was like, this cannot be the collective that I'm talking to, because, like, if this is the collective, then we're fucked, you know what I mean? Like, we're really screwed. And I don't think that's the collective. I think that's like the 3D, like, whatever, not well collective that I was seeing. But the truth is the truth. Like, you can't hide from the truth. And it's like, if you don't have that in your vessel, then you cannot have the 10 of cups. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get something that you're not ready for. Why would the divine give you something that you couldn't fucking, like, yeah, there's a lot of times we're not prepared for shit and they give us something, right? But they were not going to give you the 10 of cups if you were not ready for it. Like, they would not do that. They would not do that. Like, why would they waste your time? Why would they waste that person's time? Like, yeah, we get tested all the time with karmics. We get, you know, soulmates that, you know, shit doesn't work out. But the 10 of cups is a completely different, like, beast, right? It's different because it's kind of like what you're working up to, right? Like, you're working up to the 10 of cups, right? Like, I'm assuming we're all kind of working towards the 10 of cups in a sense, right? So it's kind of like, why would they give you the thing that you want last? Why would they get you the thing that maybe could happen last in your life first? That would be stupid, right? So yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting with this read, Scorpio. It's like, there's levels to this. And like, they did it the way that they saw fit. and they did it the way that they thought would be best, and maybe you could argue like it would have been better this way. No, I think the divine does everything the way that it should be done. And I just see like this is actually, I'm going to probably label this as, it is Scorpio's read that I was doing, but it just feels more like a collective read for the new moon, for the eclipse energy. Like, so I think I'm going to title it that way. But I mean, it was your read, Scorpio. I'll decide tomorrow if I'm going to do like a Scorpio read again, but I kind of feel like, I mean, I feel like I owe you guys your own read, but I just feel like this is the Scorpio new moon collective read. Like, and I love that it came out like this, because I've been doing new moon reads in a specific way. I don't know why I do this. I think it's because I'm a Virgo and I'm like in this very like meticulous energy. And I don't think that energy is like fit for reading cards. You know, like your intuition is not the same as, you know, this, what, like, you know what I mean? It's not what you want, it's what you feel. And you can't really like, so I've been doing a specific format for new moon reads. I've been doing a specific format. Like I use different cards for the new moon. I use different cards for the full moon. You know what I mean? And I also don't post my full moon or new moon reads on YouTube. They're on my Gumroad account, which is like a Patreon account. So it's just interesting that it came out here, because obviously I'm going to post it for Scorpio. So yeah, if you guys are not subscribed to my Gumroad channel, subscribe. I really think that this eclipse energy is bringing lightness in. I think if you've been wondering about love, that's the reason the love hasn't come in yet. So like I feel like a lot of you questioning like why that love hasn't come in, that's why. I feel like a lot of you guys, you've been given the opportunity here to make your dreams some sort of reality with the spider. So it's like, if you have been completing the task of doing what you set out to do in this like lifetime, then you've like this is in your vessel. If you've completed this one, then this is in your vessel. You cannot get though to the cup, I feel like, or the pentacle without these two. And I feel like the pentacle would come first for a lot of people, but that's not the way I'm seeing it today. I'm actually seeing it as like these two came first. You can read it differently as well. I think that's really cool, like if you try to read the cards yourself, because I mean, if you watch enough tarot videos, I know you know the meaning of the cards yourself. So if you see it a different way, see it a different way. But that's what I'm getting from this. So yeah, expect a lot of expansion in abundance with pentacles, and expect a lot of expansion in cup energy with this new moon. And also expect like that you've been working on these two, and like you couldn't get to these two without these two, right? You couldn't get to the cup and the pentacle without the wand and the sword. That's what I keep getting. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to pull advice. I think Turkey Spirit, give with gratitude and grace. Yeah, I think like today, if you were to do anything, I don't know if you guys do any ritual on the new moon or on the eclipses, but if you were to do one thing today, I would say give with gratitude and grace. Be very thankful. Be very, say thank you for what you've been through. Say thank you for the past. Again, remember like Princess Mononoke, like the demon comes in and the demon ends up dying, and she gives thanks to it. And she's like, we're going to create a site where you died. Like she reveres the demon, you know what I mean? And that's kind of funny because like Scorpio, I feel like it could be a lot about the shadow, right? Or could be looked at as like a lot of the shadow energy, and this is the new moon in Scorpio. So maybe this is a time to like give thanks to the shadow. Like in that movie, she's giving thanks to the demon. And it's like maybe that there's a point to that. Like maybe we can give thanks to like what we have had to let go in ourselves, or what we've had to take a look at, and that we haven't liked to, you know, look at the shadow, right? Maybe you've been doing a lot of shadow work, and it's a time for getting out of that a little bit and getting more into like this light energy. But again, you can't get to the light energy if you haven't gone through the dark energy. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't get through the light. You can't get to the light side, right? If you haven't done any work on the dark. It's like, again, you can't get to the cup or the pentacle if you haven't gone through the wand and the sword. Because then what would be the point? Again, what would be the fucking point? So yeah, that's what I'm getting, guys. I love you. I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time. Bye.